Good morning, good morning. Today we are making a new soap. This is going to be our Halloween soap. As you can tell by the batter, it's really dark. This means that I am using my full Monty soap batter. This has the colloidal oatmeal, the goat's milk, the aloe vera juice, all the other additives that I like to use. We're going to use Nurture Soap Juicy Apricot Fragrance Oil. I picked this oil because when you smell it in the bottle, it smells exactly like a Jolly Rancher. And I only eat Jolly Ranchers at Halloween time. Unfortunately, it's not going to smell quite like a Jolly Rancher, and I'll explain that at the end. Right now I'm just portioning out my soap batter for the different colorants that I'm going to use. I thought I was going to use 4 colors. I decided to only use 3 colors. We're all set to go. I've got my purple colorant here. And then I'm going to add sea salt. Now normally I add my sea salt to the water before I add my lye, and I make sure it's fully dissolved. But this time I'm adding it after the batter has come to a trace. Now I'm hoping that this is going to be a scrubby element. A lot of people make spa bars with lots of sea salt in them, and I was a little too hesitant to try to go for the full salt bar, so I just added a little bit, thinking I'd still get some scrubbies in there. And in the finished bar, I have to say I don't quite feel them, but it's still a nice additive to the soap, so I'm not mad about it at all. So we're stirring in some silver. I'm going to use this for some spooky clouds, and then we've got some green oxide going in here, and that's for our grass, and then our nice purple here, blending it in. Now usually purples and greens will get muddy and dark in the batter, and then they'll brighten up in the finished soap. But with these, they're going to stay pretty true to color. In come my cavity molds. These are my trusty, cheap Amazon pink cavity molds that I have been using since the very first day I started soaping. And I gotta say, I still love them. Now, if you have watched the Desert Sunset soap, you'll see that I'm trying to recreate the same effect, because I'm kind of doing roughly the same design just in a Halloween setting, but this time this pour is not working out for me at all. The reason why is because I added the salt to the purple, so the purple is much thicker and it's just overwhelming the green. It's pouring thicker, it's pouring over the green. So I tried a new method. I tried putting the green in first and then adding the purple, but you can see the purple is still just totally covering the green. So I went the cheap route and I'm just filling in the grass in the end. And just going to clean this up a little bit. And then we're going to bring in my favorite part, the embeds. I love these embeds. They're so cute. These moons are the ones that I made in the column mold. And they're supposed to be one long moon. I was going to use it in a loaf mold and you'd see the moon as you sliced it. But then I realized I would get more bars out of it if I sliced it up and used it the way I'm using it here. So I'm just testing out the scenery, seeing how I want to set this up, and I'm pretty happy with how I'm doing it. It's very, very similar, like I said, to the Desert Sunset soap, except we've got a white moon instead of a pink moon, we have a pumpkin instead of a sagebrush, and a ghost instead of a cactus. But I just think it's super cute. It makes me think of the Peanuts Great Pumpkin Halloween special. Once I have my scene set up and I'm happy with it, I'm just going to go through and add one embed at a time. And once I have all the moons laid out, then I'm going to take my mold and I'm going to bang it down. And I'm going to do this because it helps resettle the soap so that I don't get soap puffing up around the embeds. So I lay all one thing, bang it around, and then I'm going to go back in, lay another embed on each one, which is going to be the pumpkin. I find if I lay all of my embeds at once and then bang it down, the soap tends to slop all over the embeds. So if I do it one at a time, I don't have to bang it as much, and I feel like I have more control over it. Look at this little ghost. He's so cute. My youngest son made him, and he is just darling. And then my other son made this spooky demon skull with a hinged jaw. So they're going to get these bars. They helped me the day that I was making soap embed creatures. And then as I'm laying the soaps, the little ghosts, I start to wonder why I keep having them on the ground. And I decide to make some float in the air like this. Makes it look a little bit spookier, a little more supernatural. But I also don't mind the ones that are on the ground because they look like kids dressed as ghosts, ready for trick-or-treating on Halloween night. And then I run out of little ghosts, so I grab myself some skulls. These are meant for another soap I'm making, but I think they look great in this setting as well. I just love those skull soaps. They're some of my favorite. Now for our mystical, spooky, wispy Halloween cloud. And I start to second guess this choice right here, where I lay it down and it basically covers my entire moon. And I'm like, oh, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And then I start to think, now these look sloppy too. Like all of a sudden my cute scenery just looked bad. But I'm glad I stuck with it because once I started swirling the clouds and kind of giving them that wispy, curling, rolling fog effect, they looked perfect. So I'm really, really happy with the clouds, with the moon peeking behind them, with everything. I just think that this turned out to be a super cute Halloween soap. Now here, they're out of the mold and ready for trimming, and to my dismay, I found soda ash. See that white, hazy kind of look to it? That's soda ash. It's perfectly fine, it's just cosmetic, but it's not something that I like to have on my bars. And unfortunately, it's not just on the surface of the soap this time, and I wasn't able to steam it off. This time, it went on the sides and on the back of my soap as well. Ugh, I was so mad. But if you can't steam off your ash, and you can't spray off your ash or wash off your ash, that's where this comes in handy. This is my soap planer / beveler. This ash is just skin deep on the soap, so I'm going to shave off just a paper thin layer of soap. And look, it's already removing it. I have a little on the edge there. That's okay. I'll just run that edge through again. And look at that. No soda ash. A little bit of a drag mark from the salt that we put in, but I'm okay with that. Now we'll also remove it from the back of the soap. And once again, you're going to see the pock marks. Those are from the salt. But I'd rather have that than ash. So then I bevel the edges. You can see on this one, all of the corners are nicely beveled so that you don't have sharp edges there. The ash is still on the surface of the soap. I can't shave that off because of the embeds, but it kind of looks like a spooky, misty fog on a Halloween night. So I'm okay with it on the front of the soap. I just don't want it anywhere else. Now, as you can see, as I'm cleaning up this bar of soap, I just want you to pay attention to how much time I'm taking on one bar of soap. It's a lot of time, and a lot of people might think that that's a waste of time. It just depends on what you're going for in your soap. If I'm just here to make a good quality soap, I'm not going to spend as much time trimming, making sure it looks perfect. Some people just embrace the ash. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you're going for a particular look, a certain aesthetic, when you're looking at your soap as more than just soap and you're thinking of it as an art piece, you really are willing to take the extra time to give it those little details, remove anything that detracts from the overall design. And that's what I want with this soap. When people get this soap, I don't want them asking, what's that white stuff on the sides? I don't want to have to educate them on the fact that it's just a skin-deep cosmetic defect that does nothing to the soap. I would just rather it not be there. So I'm taking all the extra time to make sure that I shave it off, to shave off any little flecks of soap that stick to the soap bar. I just want it to look as nice as possible because these are my little works of art. My little cartoony, ghosty, pumpkin, Halloweeny works of art. I promised you an update on a couple things with this soap. First being the scent. I scented it with Nurture Soap Juicy Apricot. Smelled amazing in the bottle. But you have to remember the ghost and the moon are scented with wasabi, which is a very strong ginger smell. It smells like a very sweet ginger candy is what it smells like. So it's still a great scent. Not the one I was going for, not a juicy, super sweet Jolly Rancher by any means, but still a fun smell. It's kind of sweet and spicy all at the same time. The salt I thought was going to be like super scrubby, like scratchy on your skin, kind of like the poppy seed soap I made with the dragon fruit one. It's not. It's a very smooth feeling bar, even though before you get it in the shower, if I rub my finger across it, I can actually pull up salt crystals from this purple layer. You can see the pock marks. There's none in the green because the green doesn't have salt. So not very scratchy, but it's a beautifully conditioning bar. Oh my goodness. I tried it. This is now 3 weeks old. Tried it in the shower. Super creamy. If you work up a lather, it's got great bubbles, but otherwise it's definitely more of a creamy lather. So it's a beautiful, beautiful soap with all those additives. Just wanted to let people know it's not a juicy, sweet scent and it's not super scratchy, but it's a great soap.